Let's talk American politics now with two blokes who are just as invested in it, but we all know Australia's the most awesome place ever, but these two big blokes have got plenty to say about it, Matt Canavan and Sam Crosby. Matt, I'm going to start with you. Okay, Kamala Harris, basically whatever was holding back the money for Biden, it's surging, right? A couple $100 million, but we're now sort of through a phase where we didn't know what was happening with the polls. There's enough polling to suggest that, of course, she's replaced much of the deficit of Biden, but she hasn't overtaken Trump in the swing states and on the key issues. As a person who wants Trump up and over the top, how do you feel a week into this?
Well, look, it's probably a bit early to say. Obviously, these types of changes usually do involve a little bit of reinflating of enthusiasm, especially among a party's base, because they're new and they're different and they can be packaged perhaps, and it's like a new football season, right? You always think the new team your team's got is going to win it this year. They're going to do it,
and the Tigers will win.
Eventually,
all those hopes go out the window. So, I think the fundamental problem for the Democrats here is the Rust Belt states. That's where this election comes down to. And you look at the electoral map, it all comes down to states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, although that's pretty much in the red column now. So the question is, does a relatively left-wing, or the most left-wing in some measures, former senator from California, from San Francisco, be that as it may, help the Democrats in those states? I don't know. She'll have to pull off an amazing level of flexibility that we're not even seeing in the gymnastics at the Olympics to straddle San Francisco to all the way to Cleveland.
Yeah, because it's this thing where part of your studies of recent time is, again, as a Fulbright scholarship, ladies and gentlemen, you had to spend plenty of time in the United States. But of course, it's like any country. It's many countries within countries, right? And as Matt says, the top right-hand corner does not automatically believe what the bottom right-hand corner and all of that in between, right? But at this election, we've got a scenario where a state like Nevada, a huge union state, is kind of in the Trump column, right? So there are a few things that are surprising to this point, regardless of whether it was Biden or Harris. And sure, I get it. There's the relief that you've got somebody to fight. You've got a boxer in the fight. But what's your sense of, okay, after the first week in the yay, where Harris is?
Well, look, the polls consistently said that 75% of people just wanted someone new, fresh, younger. They didn't want a repeat of the last election. This is giving them that. And so, yep, you're seeing an increase in her numbers. So, let's see. I do think Matt's analysis, I think, is absolutely spot on. This does come down to that Rust Belt, those three states. Nevada, Arizona, yeah, they're under a big question mark, but they're also small. You can either side can absolutely win without holding those.
Correct.
I think genuinely the way it'll come down to is Pennsylvania. Whoever wins Philly will win the presidency.
Well, which is why potentially the governor of Pennsylvania is being talked about as her vice presidential pick, and that would help.
So that's Josh Shapiro. So vice presidential picks matter very little in the scheme of things.
But you should be able to win your own state.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the very few areas which, why putting JD Vance on was an interesting and I think a really, we'll see if it was confident or overconfident move. Ohio is voting Republican.
But if it helps lock it in.
Sure, but that is in the bag. The question is, does a one-year governor in Josh Shapiro carry a state with it? He's got numbers that are unheard of, the 65-35 favourabilities. It's unheard of to have someone that popular. Let's see if he does actually get it. Mark Kelly's the other one from Arizona.
Correct.
And I think that would be cool to have a former fighter pilot and former astronaut as a vice president. That's cool.